It's me, Terry Krueger, the sweetest psychopath you'll ever meet, and welcome back to my channel. Yes, so all my stuff has finally arrived. Yesterday in the mail, I finally received my Jeffree Star new concealer and powder. I am excited. I wanted to film a video yesterday, but I kind of wanted to do a wear time test. By the time I noticed I got the package at my house, it was already like 9 at night. For myself, I did get the beige powder, and I did get C13. I kept debating a lot, going back and forth. At first, I thought I was going to get C16, then C18, and then I ended up with C13. I myself don't like a highlight for my concealer. I personally like it to be my skin tone. I don't like the brightness too much. If anything, that's when I highlight it myself with like highlighters and stuff. I like my concealer to be my color. From looking at it, the packaging is pretty cute, but it does look a little light, but we'll go ahead and see how it works out for me. Right off the back, what this reminds me of, this pink diamond here, if you took me back to my childhood, have any of you ever seen Aladdin? I'm pretty sure most of you have. The part where Aladdin goes down to that sand head thing, and he goes to retrieve that diamond where he finds the magic carpet and the genie. I used to have a toy of that little set, and it came with a little red diamond that would go in the hands of that thing that was holding it, and that's exactly what this thing reminds me of, just pink. The star at the top is really cute. It's actually really sharp. Let's see if it cuts me. It did leave a mark, so this could be used as an assault weapon, which, hello, thumbs up for me already. And then I also picked up Fair and C9 for a friend of mine, and we're gonna go drop those off with her right now. I don't want to open them because they're not mine, so when I give them to her, maybe she'll swatch them out first. We'll see. And for the eyeshadow today, I did use a combination of Alien and Blue Blood. So I'm going to go ahead and do all my makeup today. I'm going to go ahead and use the Laura Mercier Flawless Foundation. I'm going to mix it in with the Hyper Real drops from MAC Cosmetics. So enough jaw flapping, and let's start painting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with my face base. This is a Bobbi Brown. I'll grab some with my beauty blender and just put this all over. Now I'm going to do my makeup like I do every day. When I'm going out to work, when I'm just going to go out with friends or whatever. I'm going to do every step that I normally do. But I have a lot of breakouts right now. Girl, I've been so stressed out with life right now. It is insane. There's a bunch of school, work, and other crap going on in my life. But a bitch will pull through. Now, I always do my eyes and eyebrows first, and right after I'm done with that, I do go into my concealer. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. I'm gonna do one side with the brush and one side with the beauty blender, but in the end, I'm probably gonna blend it all out with the beauty blender because that's just the way I normally do it. I just wanna see how it applies differently. So let's just get right into that. I'm gonna go ahead and open mine. This is the Magic Star Concealer in C13. And I'm not a person who uses a ton of concealer either, so I see all these people who are covering the whole face with it, and girl, I use very little. And there is no scent to it at all, and I normally don't do this all like highlight with my concealer, but I'm going to for the sake of the video, just so we can see everything it can do. So I'm gonna go and put it up here. Is that how people do highlighter? I don't know. Honestly, this is way more concealer than I normally wear, but I'm doing it for the sake of the video just so you can get a really good idea. So I'm going to go ahead with the Beauty Blender first. I'm going to blend all this out. See, for me, this is too light of a shade, but I'll make her work. She's blending it out nicely. And I'm not sure if this is the matte foundation. I'm not sure if this is a matte concealer or not. I really hope it's not, because I'm not a fan of anything matte, especially under my eye. I dread putting anything matte near my face. Okay, so it blended out nice. I'm gonna go ahead and just blend this in now. It covered up the redness already from those little blemishes I had. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use the number 71 brush from Sephora. I'm gonna blend that out. Oh wow, that looks really nice. I love that I've let it sit for a while and it's still blending out, not looking streaky, not pulling or like leaving a residue behind that looks like it's not blending out. So that's already pretty cool. I feel like I like the way it blended out with the Beauty Blender way better than it did with the brush. The brush did a good job, but for my standards, I prefer the Beauty Blender, so I'm going to just press this in with the Beauty Blender to help it really sink in there. And I hate putting any makeup around here if it's matte, because then it dries out the area of my piercing and it looks really gross. And I always do apply my powders with a brush and then set it with a Beauty Blender. And it does smell like cotton candy. You can always see this kind of residue all over the area, and I haven't even opened this yet. Not necessarily a problem for me. You can see the product here. I'm gonna go ahead and close it and shake it up to get some of the powder out. Holy shit, that little shake, a lot of powder rizzed to the top. You know, just like saying. I'm gonna go ahead and start setting it, and I always set from the outside in. As a pro tip, it's always best to start outside in, because you want the majority of the powder to be on the outside as you drag it to the inside, just so you don't get that cakiness under the eye. So start from the middle and then bring the last part in. Application, it looks pretty good. I still like the way this side looks better starting off with the Beauty Blender. The side of the brush looks cute, but I just feel like this side's looking better. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and always just apply this with the Beauty Blender, but nothing a little finger banging won't knock out. Now for fountain concealer, I usually use the Airbrush concealer from Benefit Cosmetics. This one is so creamy and so nice, and a little bit goes a long way. This has always been my favorite. And with setting powders, I do like the Patrick Star Under Eye Setting Powder. In all reality, this is honestly not a new product or nothing Patrick Star himself created. This is a pro powder from MAC that you can get online anytime. You just need a pro card to get it. Other than that, I do use my Chanel setting powder. This is what I use more than anything else. I use this to bake, I use this to cut the contour and all that good shit. But today we're only going to be using the new Jeffree Star powder. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the Beauty Blender and just start packing all this foundation on. And I'm going to go ahead and set the area where I contour. It's always best to set your foundation with a translucent powder before you start contouring. If you kind of just start contouring on top of foundation, it could kind of pull it and make it start looking all muddy and gross. Laying a powder first will help it smooth out easier. So when you put your contour powder on, it will definitely help it glide better. It's kind of like the same when you do your eyeshadow. Yeah, you put a wet sticky base down and then you set it with like a nude or a neutral shadow, and then you start building on top of that, so everything kind of glides and blends better together. So everything kind of glides together better. Same thing when you contour. I always powder over my face. Then I'm going to take this gross little sponge, just a disposable sponge. It's the one I've been using for like this week. I always discard them after a couple uses just so your oils don't keep collecting on it and then it gets real ugly. But this one I've only used like a couple times. Yes, it looks gross, but I wear a lot of makeup sometimes. So I'm going back into the powder. I'm going to cut the contour. Ooh, and that's a lot of powder it picks up too. Like a barely even touching that powder, and that was a lot. I usually have to dip back into the Chanel or the MAC one to kind of get this kind of coverage for my translucent powder when I do this, but that was just one tiny dip. Like, wow, this will last a long time, I'm hoping. And I'm just going to brush it along the top to blend out the contour. And just to add a little more, I'm going to take this Patrick Star bronzer from MAC. I'm going to take it just on this Sephora number 93 brush and just kind of add it back here to lighten this up. Give me that glow. Okay, she's looking real pussy. I'm going to go ahead and add some blush, eyelashes, lipstick, and I'll be back. And we finished it up with some Caudalie Grape Water Spray. I love this stuff. It is not a makeup setting spray. What it is more is a refresher to help revive and freshen up the makeup and keep it looking stunning. Pussy wet. Like I said, I don't like matte, so this works for me. I went ahead and finished the lip using Gems and Roses from MAC Cosmetics and the original Fenty Gloss Bomb on top of some Half Red MAC lip liner. And I went ahead and added lashes from MB Lash & Co. in the style Vacay. So, okay, so far it looks like it's holding up really nicely. The finish was really pretty. It looks really smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and step out for the day. I'm gonna be doing check-ins with you guys to see the holdup of this concealer and powder and see how stunning it actually is. This might be a little too up close and personal, but here it is. My face smells so much like candy because of the powder and this Fenty lip gloss. Girl, I'm gonna get attacked by a swarm of bees when I step outside. Okay, my first check-in time, it's 2 hours later from when I put it on, and it still is looking pretty nice. It's set down, has increased, is looking pretty nice. A little more matte than I'm used to, but you know, it's still looking good. I'm about to set out for the day now, and I will be back in a couple hours for another check-in. Alright, well, this is going to be my final check-in and final thoughts of the day. It is about 6 p.m. right now, and I've been wearing this makeup since about 7 or 8 this morning. I went to school, I went to go see some friends, I went to go drop off some of the products that I bought for another friend. I went to go drop them off to her at work, and then I went to go hang out with other friends, and then I came back home now. But bitch, it is fucking hot and I'm wearing a ton of makeup, so this is not my favorite thing in the world right now because I just feel like my face is so hot. But for the most part, as I look at this makeup and check it, the concealer held up really, really nice. So this is the eye that I did with the Beauty Blender first, and then this is the eye I did with Blush. As you can see, they're both pretty smooth underneath. There was no cracking, there was nothing really to, there was really nothing like bad I can say about it. The only thing for me is it was different because this concealer is a matte finish and I don't necessarily wear matte or use anything matte. So for me to see my under eye not as like dewy as it normally was, I was at first like, oh my god, this looks so dry, but it's not dry, it's matte. Really well, everything came together real nice. My skin feels nice, it looks nice. I feel like I'm melting though and sweaty just because of how hot it is. And I have been going all over town today, so it lasted up pretty nicely. I didn't touch up or anything. If anything, I blotted my forehead, but that's probably looking real greasy, grimy right now anyways. I would say if you're curious about this concealer and you don't mind a matte finish, then I say definitely pick it up. I actually really like the powder because it does have like a cotton candy scent to it, and then I did also use the Fenty Gloss Bomb. So as soon as I finished my makeup earlier and I left, I was like, oh my god, my whole face smells like candy, but it wasn't overwhelming. I actually really enjoyed it, and then I kind of got sad once the scent faded off. I was like, oh, I can't smell it anymore, and that's odd for me because I hate cotton candy. I despise it. It's just it's just so gross to me. I don't like anything too sugary or sweet, and like cotton candy is just not my thing. And when I heard that the powder was gonna smell like cotton candy, I was like, oh bitch, I'm gonna hate that. But I actually really did enjoy that. So for the packaging, I think it's pretty cute. It is kind of smaller than anything else I do have, but then again, this was only $22, and I feel like a lot of product did come in this. Like, oh, I don't want the fans to hit it, but oh my god, look at that. I took off the lid, I took off the sticker and put the lid back on to shake it up to get some of the product out, and it like filled that top part of it, if you can see that. And there's still a lot of product left at the bottom, so I'm not mad about that. I do like that. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch a little bit for you. This is the beige shade, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that right here. It's very similar to my Chanel one. I do wear the Chanel translucent powder in shade 30, and that one's actually a little bit lighter than this, and I don't mind it. My friend did get the powder in Fair, and when she swatched it when I gave it to her at work, I was like, bitch, that was fucking bright as fuck. But I think she likes a bright highlight, so it'll work for her. I did want to get swatch. I did want to get a video of her swatching it, but you know, she was at work and she was busy. I didn't want to bother her to do that, so we did it. And oh yeah, and I don't know if I noted it earlier, but when I did apply this, I seriously opened it once, swiped it across both my eyes, down my nose, and on my forehead, and there was enough product to cover everything. I did used to use the Born This Way Too Faced concealer, and that one I would have to dip once for each eye, and that was a pretty good concealer, but then when I found the Benefit one, it just knocked that one out of the water, and I fucking loved it. This one is cute. I just wish it was more of a dewy formula instead of a matte formula, but I honestly don't hate it. Like, I like it. For someone who doesn't like matte, I think from now on I'll just put a really hydrating eye cream on before applying this, because I mean, look at how good it looks. Besides the fact that it's matte and that's not my favorite thing, I think it looks pretty good. Maybe I'll mix this with the Benefit one and check it out. And go ahead and swatch this for you. Again, this is C13. Look at that. Sorry for my hairy arm. I'm gonna put just a little bit because you don't need a lot. And I'm gonna put it just like right here on my tattoo. And bitch, she's covering my pumpkin. And what I always tell clients too, like when I'm doing makeup on other people, sorry if you can hear my fucking dogs barking, I don't know what's going on. Tapping a product in will cover whatever you're trying to cover, whether it's a tattoo, a blemish, age spots, whatever, hyperpigmentation. Tapping it in will give you the coverage, not brushing it around, because brushing around is going to move it, and you want to build it and tap it to give it that coverage. Because this is a tattoo, even though it is super high coverage formula, using a color corrector, it's definitely going to help that out. And yeah, it definitely will cover it. And look, you can see that it did cover it pretty well without using a color corrector. So if I did use a color corrector, I think it would be pretty bomb. I was gonna buy the peach one, but I decided against it because I'm an old school queen, and when I go out to perform and I do decide to cover my facial hair, I do use just the cheapest red lipstick to pack that on and blend it out and hide my beard. I am excited for his lavender color corrector to come out because that would be a good brightening, and I do want to get a darker shade of the concealer. So I think I'm gonna wait till I'm in DragCon so I could swatch them out myself if he has them there to apply those on and see which one I would really, really like. But honestly, like, I'm looking at this one and I don't hate it. I really do genuinely like it. I am surprised that I like a matte product. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, or you did enjoy me, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with all your friends, and tell all the cute dudes I said what's up. Anyways, if you want to hang out with me in between uploads, you can follow me on Instagram. That's Tara_Krueger. I always leave that down in the description below. But until the next time, I'll see you ghouls later.